The end is near. My funeral should be spectacular.
The last moment of James Jones. On thee is the real cause of death, his moments in the hospital before death, and how actors reacted to his death. Not also forgetting the untold truth about him.
I'm going to die now.
One of the most famous voices of all time has gone silent. James Earl Jones, whose prodigious acting talent was often overshadowed by his distinctive baritone over a 7-decade career both on stage and on the screen, died Monday.
Let me guess. You like Star Wars.
His representative said. He was 93. Jones didn't land the same coveted leading roles at a time when there were few to go around for black actors in Hollywood, but he earned unmatched longevity as a character actor, from his first movie credit in 1964's Dr. Strangelove to his reprisal of his role as King Joffrey in the 2021 sequel to Coming to America. James Earl Jones doesn't get enough credit for being a pathblazer for actors like Denzel Washington, who came after him, said Ray Dawn Chong, his co-star in the 1986 comedy Soul Man. It was treading the boards of Broadway and beyond where Jones forged his place at the top of the marquee. Mr. Jones commands a full, resonant voice and a supple body, and his jealous rages and frothing frenzy have not only size but also emotional credibility. It was, of course, that resonant voice that would eventually become his trademark.
Have forgotten me. Look inside yourself, Simba. You are more than what you have become.
While he earned 2 Tony Awards, 2 Emmy Awards, an honorary Academy Award and a Grammy over his long career, he may be best remembered for an uncredited role in Star Wars, supplying the voice for Darth Vader, which has reverberated far beyond that galaxy. Making his journey all the more remarkable is that one of the most recognizable voices in Hollywood history had to overcome a severe stutter during his childhood in Mississippi and Michigan before he could take the first step. Jones, born 1931 in Acapulco, Mississippi, said he grew up as a shy and quiet child, wary of speaking and drawing attention to his speech impediment. With his father, Robert, a boxer turned actor, having left home to establish a theater career in Chicago, Jones was shipped to his maternal grandparents' farm in rural Michigan at age 5. There, the trajectory of his life changed in high school, when an English teacher taught him how to sound out each word carefully. I could now say things that great writers wrote. I would never have thought of it myself. Years later, Jones discovered a love of acting at the University of Michigan, from which he graduated in 1955 after a 2-year tour of duty in the Army. That's when he moved to New York City, as his father had years earlier, to break into acting. He worked as a janitor part-time to pay the bills while he studied at the American Theater Wing, according to biography. With his booming baritone and stage presence, Jones didn't have to wait long to get noticed, making his Broadway debut in the late 1950s in the play Sunrise at Campobello. In 1961, he gained acclaim for the US premiere of Jean Genet's The Blacks at the St. Mark's Playhouse, which co-starred a cast of then-unknowns, including Cicely Tyson, Maya Angelou, and Louis Gossett Jr. Having reconnected with his father, the younger Jones appeared in several stage productions with him in New York, including Infidel Caesar and Moon on a Rainbow Shawl in 1962, and Of Mice and Men 5 years later. The younger Jones became a regular in the Shakespeare in the Park program in 1962, with his lauded performance in Othello 2 years later catapulting him to stardom in the New York theater scene. The production earned him more than critical accolades. Jones hit the pinnacle of any Broadway veteran's career with the play The Great White Hope, in which he starred as a fictionalized version of the real-life boxer Jack Johnson. His performance earned him the Tony for Best Actor in a Play in 1969, breaking the color barrier of the most important acting awards in theater. Jones would go on to star in the 1970 cinematic adaptation of the play, a turn that would earn him a Golden Globe and his only Academy Award nomination. Jones would lose the Best Actor Oscar to George C. Scott, Patton. Hollywood back then only had room for a certain number of black actors, said Wilson Morales, the founder and editor of blackfilmandttv.com. He never really got the big roles compared to Sidney Poitier. Almost all the roles that he had over the years, they were largely supporting roles, Morales said of Jones. Jones would win a Grammy for Best Spoken Word Recording in 1977, an early sign of the recognition for his voice. Jones married the actor Cecilia Hart in 1982. The same year, he starred opposite budding action star Arnold Schwarzenegger as an evil sorcerer in Conan the Barbarian. The marriage would produce a son, Flynn, the same year, and it would last until Hart's death of ovarian cancer in 2016. Now a father, Jones continued to work steadily through the 1980s. You have to remember, Coming to America was the biggest black film of its time, Morales said. It was the Black Panther of the era. He also kept one foot on the boards, earning his second Tony Award in 1987 for August Wilson's Fences, a role that Denzel Washington would play in a movie version 29 years later. In 1990, Jones was cast as the lead in the TV drama Gabriel's Fire. The type of signature role that might have been better appreciated had the series run on a premium cable network 2 decades later. At the time, however, TV execs considered the material too dark and canceled the show after 1 season. Jones shined enough in that limited time to earn his first Primetime Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actor. He won a second Emmy that night for his supporting turn in the TV movie Heatwave, about the 1965 Watts race riots. In 1994, Jones lent his voice as Mufasa in Disney's animated blockbuster The Lion King. He would return to the role in the live-action version 25 years later, the only actor from the original voice cast to return. Over the ensuing 3 decades, Jones continued to work continuously, even after he was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in 1995. He racked up Emmy nominations with guest starring appearances on Picket Fences, Under One Roof, Frasier, and Everwood. On Broadway, he notched 2 more Tony nominations, for a 2005 production of On Golden Pond and for a revival of Gore Vidal's The Best Man 7 years later. In 2011, Jones was awarded an Honorary Academy Award for his career as a whole. That he never won an Oscar for a specific movie role, denying him the coveted EGOT, is a lingering symbol of just how much he was underappreciated over a prolific and profound career. Taylor, the UCLA professor, always includes a clip of Jones in the 1987 production of Fences in his masterclass on acting. He was a gargantuan presence, but such a fine, precise, attuned actor on stage, Taylor said. It was beautiful to watch him work. Knowing this about him is the most kind of it all. May his soul rest in peace.